I'm from a big family. I'm one of 8.
My goodness.
And, it was pretty desperate. Didn't get a lot of attention. That's why I'm craving it so much now.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? So here I am in Brantford, Ontario, Canada, home of Wayne Gretzky, the greatest athlete of all time. Yeah, I said it. Fight me. He is. Now, of course I'm going to do something about Wayne Gretzky, my idol growing up at some point. But today I'm here to concentrate on somebody else. The one, the only, Phil Hartman. Now you might be wondering, why am I here in a park? Why am I showing a forest behind me? Well, this forest connects to Phil Hartman's childhood home, which is just about 6 houses that way. And he used to play here as a kid. Phil Hartman used to play in this forest. He talked about it in 1997, I believe. He came back to Brantford for a homecoming, for an awards banquet, because he was being inducted in the Brantford Walk of Fame. And they took him on a tour of his old stomping ground and came to his house, and he talked about how he used to play right there in that forest. So right in there, I'm gonna show you the house. But I thought it was really cool seeing that Phil Hartman used to play back here. Oh, you're seeing the gates, but let's come on, let's show the forest. Can't see the forest for the gates or the fence. Now, I'm going to show you the house, like I said, and take you somewhere else to do with Phil Hartman here in Brantford, but I'm also going to hit you with some Phil Hartman facts that you may not know. See, a lot of people, Phil Hartman had a tragic ending. And I think everybody knows the story of that. I've driven by that house in LA many, many times. Never did a video about it. I'm a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. Since 1988, I've not missed one episode. If you're on my Instagram, I've been uploading pictures that I've been finding lately of me when I met the cast and stuff. And I did get to meet Phil Hartman. And I can't find that picture, but I will. And I have it on video too. I have to get that transferred if I can find that video. And I will say he was the most genuine, nicest guy ever. He's exactly what you think Phil Hartman would be. So this video is going to be a lot about me telling you. It's going to be this face talking. So if you don't like that, maybe it's a video not for you. But I'm going to show you some stuff. But I want to tell you some stuff about Phil Hartman's life. I want to celebrate his life. There's enough videos out there that concentrate on the horrible ending for Phil Hartman. And I want to do something about his life, celebrate his life, how amazing he was. Do you know that if Phil Hartman were alive today, he would be 71 years old? Isn't that crazy? Just to think that he's frozen in time as Phil Hartman. The way he looks, he'd be 71 today. He'd probably still be acting, and he'd probably still be really funny. It's a really beautiful area of Brantford that I'm in. Really, really pretty. Phil lived here from the time he was born until he was 9 years old. And then the family moved to Lewiston, Maine, a city I've been to. And nice little town. And Patrick Dempsey's from there as well. I wonder if they ever cross paths. I don't know. I doubt it. Because Phil soon moved to California after that and became a graphic designer. He went to school to be a graphic designer. Do you know that Phil Hartman didn't become a comedian? Okay. He was a graphic designer. He designed the logo for Crosby, Stills, and Nash. This one. He designed album covers for America, the band. Steely Dan. He was an accomplished graphic designer. And then around the age of 28, see, he was always by himself doing all these designs, but he realized he was doing all these voices and he loved comedy. So what he did was he went to a Groundlings performance. Now, the Groundlings are an improvisational group in Los Angeles, and he went to one of their shows, and he loved what they were doing. He got up on stage while they were performing and put himself into one of their scenes. And he was good. Well, he's Phil Hartman. Of course he was good. So then he joined the Groundlings, and he became the most popular member of the Groundlings. And there were a lot of famous people in the Groundlings with him at the time. One of the most famous was Paul Reubens, this guy. Now, of course, Paul Reubens, that's Pee Wee Herman. Exactly. Phil Hartman invented the character of Pee Wee Herman with Paul Reubens. Did you know that? And wrote the movie Pee Wee's Big Adventure. So Phil had an amazing career. He had an amazing quote. See, he wanted to be in movies. He wanted to be on TV, but he said this quote. I'll read it to you right now while I show you this more of the forest.
As an actor, I felt I couldn't compete. I wasn't as cute as the leading man. I wasn't as brilliant as Robin Williams. The one thing I could do was voices and impersonations and weird characters, and there was really no call for that, except on Saturday Night Live.
So he did a couple of movies. Three Amigos was one of them, which was a Saturday Night Live produced movie. Lorne Michaels produced it. And then he got on Saturday Night Live.
I think you're the worst actor I've ever seen, and I get 500 letters a day telling me the same.
What's the word on the street?
And that's where we all came to know and love Phil Hartman. He was known as the glue. He kept it going. He kept that show together. He was in more sketches than anyone else because you could just slot him in and he'd do the job. He was great as a straight man. He was great as the leading man in the sketches. And he actually wanted to leave in 1991. But Lorne Michaels, the producer and creator of Saturday Night Live, said, you should stick around a little while longer, get your exposure up so more people will know you for when you want to do movies. What a brilliant decision Phil Hartman made based on the brilliant suggestion by Lorne Michaels, because a little thing happened called the Clinton presidency, and Phil Hartman played Bill Clinton, and that just skyrocketed him to fame. So he stayed on. Bill Clinton became president, and he started doing his Clinton impression, and that really solidified him as one of the heavyweights of comedy.
They saw that I was able to balance the budget and an intern at the same time. So look, now...
All right, now I'm gonna go show you Phil Hartman's childhood home here in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. Are we ready? Yes.
Fires this summer could be even more devastating. Here with a commentary, Frankenstein.
Fire, bang!
And there you go, right there. That would be Phil Hartman's childhood house. Now, the park that I was at was just right down the street. So the forest, you can see the forest for the trees, right there behind the house. But that would be Phil Hartman's childhood home right here in Brantford, Ontario, Canada, till the age of 9. A lot of people don't know Phil Hartman was Canadian. He was, and his last name was spelled with 2 N's. He dropped one of the N's. Became Phil Hartman, not Phil Hartman. That's it right there. All right, now I'm going to take you to the Walk of Fame here in Brantford. Now, from what I gather, I think probably Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, Wayne Gretzky, Linda Schuyler, the creator of Degrassi, is from Brantford. Phil Hartman. I think there may be 2 other people. Well, we're going to find out together. Just got to remember where it is. Thank you for turning your lawnmower off when I'm done this part. All right, let's go. All right, so I'm in downtown Brantford, I'm assuming. And after looking all around, trying to figure out where this park is, Well, there's no cliffhanger. I found it. But I really thought it was going to be a lot... It's not a walk of fame. It's a wall of fame. Did I mention that? But I was looking for a walk of fame, which makes it really difficult to look for, like, a sidewalk when they don't really give you the proper directions. But it's a wall, and I found the wall. I'm going to show you the wall because it's really cool, because Phil Hartman's going to be there. All right, this way to the cafeteria.
This way to the cafeteria.
So here we go. Now, I think this may be called Grant Park. I'm not sure. Or Brant Park in Brantford, Ontario. And I believe this is where, yeah, the Brantford Wall of Fame is. Let's find Phil Hartman together. Phil Hartman was in a lot of movies like So I Married an Axe Murderer. Sergeant Bilko, his last starring role was in Small Soldiers. And I think a lot of people know him from NewsRadio. He was on that for 4 seasons as Bill McNeal. And of course, as a voice on The Simpsons. Well, not a voice, many, many voices. So here's Wayne Gretzky on the Wall of Fame. We'll come back to him. Let's just say Wayne Gretzky, when I say he's the greatest athlete of all time, he holds a record for holding the most records. That says it. I love Wayne Gretzky. The Cockshut family. I'm not sure what they did. You can take from that what you will. Alexander Graham Bell. Most famous invention of the telephone. The world's first successful long-distance telephone call was from Brantford to Paris, Ontario. Not too far. That's crazy. Samuel Stedman. Not related to Oprah Stedman, I don't think. Doug Jarvis, of course. Played for the Canadians. That's where I remember him playing for. Yeah, some Canadians. John Turner. He's an architect. All right, we're here for Mr. Hartman. Where's Phil? Here he is, right here. Phil Hartman, born in Brantford on September 24th, 1948. Phil Hartman resided at 225 Dufferin Avenue. I was just there. Hartman began his career in 1975 with the famed Los Angeles comedy troupe, the Groundlings. Hartman spent 8 years using his extensive repertoire of accents, dialects, impressions, and characterizations on the landmark television show Saturday Night Live.
I'm just a caveman. Your world frightens and confuses me.
The Emmy Award-winning actor-writer also starred in feature films and television on the series NewsRadio for 4 seasons, as well as appeared on The Simpsons for 9 seasons, and recorded a number of voiceover roles throughout his diverse career. Thanks to the efforts of his family, friends, and fans, Phil Hartman was awarded a star in Canada's Walk of Fame. That's in downtown Toronto. I'll take you there sometime, everybody that's watching, along with the Cineplex Legends Award in 2012, and he was inducted in 1997. And Walter Gretzky's here as well. Just drove by the house while I was here. He's received the Order of Canada. Wow. Arnold Anderson, Mr. Local Sports. Thomas Costain. It's not a lot of household names here. Jay Silverheels, boxer in the CrossFit. Deborah Brown, choreographer. Pat Godin. So if you're looking for this, it's on the corner of Brant and Dalhousie Street in Brantford, Ontario. You find Phil Hartman right here. So Jay Silverheels, actually, I mentioned he was a boxer and lacrosse player. He was Tonto on The Lone Ranger. And he worked tirelessly to improve the portrayal of Native rights. And a lot of Native Americans were portrayed by non-Native Americans, and they were portrayed in a negative fashion. So he was the first Aboriginal to play a Native American on TV. Wow. There you go, from Brantford, Ontario. He even started a actor's workshop. And it was designed to prepare them for a difficult task, to rise in Hollywood against racism and stereotypical roles. His legacy was to rise above racism and to break barriers into a well-established industry. That's incredible. I'd like to read more about him, find out more about Jay Silverheels. All right, so from Brantford, Ontario, this was a little bit about Phil Hartman, one of my favorites, one of your favorites, I'm sure. Everybody loved Phil Hartman. You talk about somebody who's beloved. All of his co-stars loved him so much. Everybody that worked with him, I've read so many things in the past few days about him, just to brush up on his life, and not a bad word to be said about the man. How professional he was, and how sweet he was, and how nice he was. This was a celebration of Phil Hartman's life, how much fun and how much joy he brought to all of us. Such an amazing actor. I hope I can one day find the photo of me with him when I was young, and maybe post it on my Instagram. And yeah, really, really missed, never forgotten, Phil Hartman. Rest in peace. And to you, I love you all. Peace out from Brantford, Ontario, home of Phil Hartman and Wayne Gretzky. Number 99.
Phil Hartman, ladies and gentlemen.